Hi folks, this is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and today we are going to work on some hair sticks. One of the reasons for that is because at my show this last weekend I sold quite a few pairs, so it's one of the things that I'm low on for my stock for my next show next weekend. So we're going to make 2 sets of hair sticks here, and we're going to use beads and charms from our, mainly from our, what is this kit called? I cannot recall. It's our latest kit, Desert Sands, that's what it's called. Our Desert Sands companion bundles, number 1 and number 2. So most of the beads are from number 2. Some of them are from number 1. Let's turn down and I'll show you what I'm going to do. I've got 2 sets of sticks here. These are metal ones. These are gorgeous, aren't they? I've never painted these, but you could, but I haven't ever. Anyway, these are metal sticks, and I get those from DIY, Lanza DIY Supply. I think they're gorgeous. And so these are my blank sticks. And then these are the beads for one of the hair sticks. I'm using these beautiful feathers. I originally was thinking they would make a great pair of earrings, and they would still, but I'm going to use them for the bottom charm on this pair of hair sticks. And then we're going to use some of these other beads at the same time. For this pair, we're going to use some of the cactus charms at the bottom. So let's just start one of these pairs right up, and we'll put them together and get those done. So I bought out some red coral soft flex medium to do these, and we've got some crimp tubes. And I didn't bring out my any jumprings, but I'll have to get some of those. So we need 4 for each set. So we need 1 more. Now 4, because 1 at the top, 1 at the bottom of each, and since there's 2 of each, we do need that. Then we need some jumprings. Now you could hook straight to the sticks if you want to. I don't like to, so I'm going to put a jump ring on each one. So there we go. Now we have everything we need. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some of my soft flex out. Now I try to make my my hair sticks to be the bead strand to be about halfway, maybe a third of the way, or 2/3 of the way. So I'm going to cut my wire about a little bit longer than my stick, and that's going to give me plenty of wire to do all my turns and such on here. So we'll set that aside. So the first thing we're going to do, of course, is grab one of our feathers and one of our crimping tubes. Now these are 2x2 crimp tubes. Fold this up. Come on, baby, fold. And then we'll slide the crimp tube down over both pieces of wire, except for it didn't go over, it just went over one. Naughty thing. It's determined to only go over one, but we're going to make it go over 2. There we go. So down she goes. You want to leave room so that it can swing. Our feather doesn't want to be immobile. I think it would be very not nice to it. Now see, this has a wide base, so this needs a little bit, it needs more space than I normally would leave here, but that's all right. So now we get to take my crimping plier. This is a magical crimper. It's got a divot right there in the middle. You put your crimp tube right in the middle and squish, and then turn and squish. And you want to do that a few times. until it's no longer squishing, that it just seems to stay put. So then we're going, once we've got that on, we're going to start with our beads. Now, I'm going to, this guy is going to go in the middle, and we have, of course, spacers. Little red ones. Come on, let go. The turquoise tube. Now one of these goes down here, and then these little brownish colored ones, like so. Now if you wanted, you could put the tube down here and the brownish one in the middle. See if I like that better. I think I do, because that separates the blues out more. So we'll slide this guy onto here. Come on, baby. There we go. We, of course, just go right down the line until we get to the end. So there we go, and she's going to be about this long. So she's a little longer than I really like it to be, but it's going to be all right. I like it anyway. So we're going to stay with that length. Now we need one more of the crimp tubes and one of our oval jump, and one of the 2 oval jump rings in this kit. So we're going to take our crimp. Now, right now you could add the jump ring if you wanted to. It actually makes a really good fulcrum when you're tightening up your wires here. So we'll just slide that through. And we're going to take hold of our jump ring and just pull. And I think that's a good right there. So then we'll take our crimping pliers. Now one thing, if you use your jump ring as a fulcrum and leave it, put it in there, you've got to remember something. It's going to try and get into your crimp when you're crimping. So just beware of that. Okay, now we'll cut this extra wire off. Now you see I did have like an extra 2 inches here. You could cut a little bit less wire than I did if you wanted. But that's all right, whichever you prefer to do. Now we'll just open up this jump ring. Hook it over our end here and close her up. And this particular one is done. Isn't that pretty? Now we can either, so the second one, we're going to do it just exactly the same way. So we will just get some wire out and string it up, and then we'll go on to our second set. So here's our beads out. I think I have more of our spacers than I'm going to need, but that's fine. I can just put them in back into their baggie. And we'll get some wire out. Like I say, I usually get a little bit longer than my stick as far as the wire is concerned. I think it is more our feather goes on first. Oh, I see, you're going to be cooperative. Go in here, crimp. Now this crimped a little tighter than I had it right at, because see, it's now smaller than that one is, but it'll be all right. It just isn't going to swing as much, unfortunately. Now, if that bothered you a lot, you could always cut this off and re-crimp it, because it is quite a bit smaller, and I'm sure I have enough wire to do that. And in fact, let's do that. So just cut the wire here and then cut off our crimp. We'll have to get another crimp, but that's all right. We know where they're at. So into our crimp tube. And this time when we do that, we've got to make sure that we leave enough space that when we crimp, it won't crimp down too tight. Oop, come here, you wire. Right. Remember, we want just a bit more. And here in crimp. Make sure it's in the middle of our divot. Now see how much better that one is with as far as space is concerned. Okay, and you can see it's closer in size to that one now. So now we'll go and feed our beads on just like we did for the other side. You go on there. There we go. That piece of wire I cut off is bound and determined to be in the middle. And that is one thing about cutting yourself extra wires, that when you get your crimps tighter than you like them, you can cut them off. Okay, I'm going to pick up these so they're not in the way. And now I do need to get that other crimp so that we can, well, I'm just going to steal it out of this one for right now. And you still have plenty of wire. As you can see, I have quite a bit still, even though we did cut off that other crimp that we had on here. So we put that in, put our wire through our beads, bring it up here, and now we take hold of our crimp and just pull. Now remember, your crimping pliers are going to need a little space. That's one thing about the magical crimpers that is not true of the regular crimpers, is that you have to have a little space for your crimping pliers to go in there, because they have a little bit of edge on either side, as you can see right here. Oops, there's that jump ring trying to get into our crimp. There we go. Cut this baby off, and see, I still had a few inches to cut off. There we go. Open this up, put it on the stick, and this pair is done. And they are pretty, aren't they? Come on, I needed to open that just a bit more. That is one thing about putting these on the hair stick, is the hair stick's connection is a bit wide. So make sure you have it closed all the way. You don't want your wire coming out. So that set is now finished. Aren't those pretty? So that's set number one. Now we'll get out some more wire and the next set of beads for set number 2. So we have this one. Now what I've decided to do with these is this big fellow is going to be our focal. And our cactus is going to go on the bottom. And we're going to have one of these brown cathedrals at the bottom and one of these other reds in the middle. I do like a little pop of color. And so let's get our beading wire out, cut a piece off, get our crimp tube in, hook in our cactus piece, and through our crimp tube, bring her up where you want it. Now this one, of course, doesn't need to have as big a loop because our cactus's loop here isn't as thick as the feathers. See how the difference of the feather and the cactus charm? So we can do this a little tighter and it's not a problem. So crimp this baby down. And then we'll string these beads on just as I have them laid out here, with the cathedral bead first. Then the little ball spacer. Now there was the ball spacers in the kit, but they were big ones and they were hefty. And I'm like, ooh, those will be too heavy on your hair. It will drag these out of your hair. We don't want that. So I didn't use those. These spacers themselves are a little heavy, so They are definitely as heavy as I want to use. Come on, go on, there we go. So this strand, as you can see, it's shorter than that one because this one has this long feather on the bottom. But that's fine because, like I said, I don't really want it to be more than like halfway to a third or 2/3 of the way down this stick. And that's what this is right here. This is actually more my preferred length than that. This bead strand is really pretty, but it's the feather that makes that extra length. So now we need one of the other crimps and one of the jumprings. Pull that out. And see, even with making a slightly shorter wire, I still have plenty. So then we'll this, bing, through, away, go through, and now we're going to hold this while we pull. Now, you wouldn't even need to put this on right now because, let's face it, you got to open it up anyway to put it on the stick. I do this because it helps me pull my beads down better, because it's helping me give me something to hold on to. So okay, now cut this extra wire off. Wiggle this so that it goes down where we want it. And then we get our pliers, open this up and stick it on this stick. And if it helps you when you're tightening your jump ring, let the stick hit your mat, because that way it's not swinging around and creating a pivot point for this other one to just sit and swing. So let's get out the wire and start our second one. I've got my wire and my crimp that we borrowed for the other one out. I got a new one, and now we're going to start on our second one. And this one won't take very long to do because we know what we're doing already. So we're going to crimp this baby up. Come on, baby. On she goes. And I like to compare to see how close in size we are here, so they're not way different. Looks like I need to give it some more. Rory sang his morning hello. And Sam was earlier, so everybody says hello. So we'll crimp this baby. And now it's the cathedral bead. The ball spacer. The red one. Now, I haven't been sliding these down over the double wire. I'm going to have to do that in a minute so that it's not hanging out. But there we go. You don't want to go on the ball spacer? Oh, yeah, you did. There we go. Big guy here. Whoops. Butterfingers. boy, all of a sudden I really do have butterfingers. Doesn't want to go through it all. Almost feels like there's something inside this bead. So I'm going to get my bead reamer and push it through. Oh, there is something in there because it's jammed. Well, there was. There's not now. I'm not sure what was in there because I felt something give, but I don't see anything come out. It's probably around the table here. So anyway, this baby, red, the ball spacer. Let's dump these out. It's easier sometimes when they're on the mat itself to pick things up. Cathedral. And now our crimping tube and our jump ring. Come on, you guys, down here. Okay. I don't want the jump ring to slide over the top of the crimp tube because then it goes to the other side and it just doesn't quite work that way. So we want this a little bit tighter. There we go. I think that's probably about what the other one is. Yes, it is. So now we need to pull these open some, so we give it that space it needs for the crimping pliers to go in. It doesn't look like it's quite in the middle there. Come on, you. There we go. There we go. Now cut this off. Being careful not to cut the string you don't want cut. So we're done with our crimping pliers. We're done with our cutters. And now we just have to open this wire, this jump ring up, and hook it to our stick. Now, for some reason, that jump ring stayed open quite a bit. See the gap in that? So what I'm going to do is take hold of both sides, and I'm going to wiggle it while I give it slight forward pressure until I hear them scrape against each other. Then we'll just tighten it up like normal. I don't think it's quite there. No, it's feeling like it's scraping. So there we go. There's number 2, all done. So there is our 2 pair of hair sticks made using our Desert Sands companion bundle beads. One with the feather and one with the cactus. Hope you enjoyed making these with me. Here are our 2 pair of hair sticks. This is the one we just finished with the cactus charm at the bottom. And then, of course, we did originally the feather. Now, I really like both of these pet sets. I think they turned out nicely. Again, the feather and the cactus. I'm a little spread a little bit more than normal. Now, if you've never worn hair sticks and you have long hair, put your hair in a bun and then they go either side like so. Now, a lot of women wear these as the anchors for their bun. Personally, I can never get that to stick. Though they do stick a lot better with the patterning on the metal than they do with something, a smooth stick. but they do work really nicely as a decoration. My husband jokes that if you're wearing these and you get attacked, these make a great defensive weapon. Anyway, this has been Rose from In Rose's Garden. And again, we've made these two beautiful pair of hair sticks using our beads and charms from our companion bundles to Desert Sand. Thanks. See you later. Bye-bye.